it's your girl, Stacy Bullock, your host of Tools for Everyday Living. And we're back for another wonderful episode. Oh my goodness. You see, look, I got my camouflage on. I'm ready for this November. It is Veterans Month. Well, one of the things that we celebrate in the month of November is veterans. And I'm one of those 18 years in the Army. Whoa. So look, this whole month, we're going to be pumped. We're going to be excited talking to our veterans and finding out how they have taken their military skills and now are using them as transferring over to being entrepreneurs, or they can be, some will be employees, but most will be entrepreneurs. And I am so excited to have this guest that is here with me today. I'm going to tell you a little bit about her after, I got to go through my little spiel of how, first of all, I'm so grateful for this platform. I'm thankful. I'm honored to be able to have a platform that will reach the world and provide tools for everyday living that we can use, like motivation and dedication and commitment and resilience. All of these things are things that we talk about as deeply threaded through our conversations when you join us every Friday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on E360 TV. But look, let me talk to you a little bit about being a veteran and an entrepreneur. They both take some adventurousness, if that's a word, in the heart of the individual that decides to join the military, and most of the time at a young age, and for various reasons. I know that many of my guests are going to come on and tell us different reasons why they decided to enlist in the military. I know my reason, and it was a reason that I needed to change my life. I needed to change my trajectory. And I know that the military helped me do that. Without the military, I don't know where I would be actually. So yeah, that's a whole nother episode. But you must be adventurous. You must be willing to take some sort of risk. We got to be some risk takers out there, and not just in the gambling world, but this happens as being a soldier or airman. We have to be willing to say, I'm gonna lay it all down for somebody if we have to. You gotta be real special to want to do that. Now, being an entrepreneur, you're gonna have to lay it all down to become successful, because you may have to lay down being with some friends. You might miss out on some one-on-one time with your significant other. You might miss out on, I don't know, just hanging out, partying, if that's what you choose to do. But as a veteran or entrepreneur, those things are minimal. But look, I'm going to stop talking because we got to bring our guest on here. I know y'all don't want to hear me just going on and on for the next 50 some minutes. But let me tell you, we have a guest here today. I met her, I believe it was like 2010, somewhere around there, 2000, maybe 10 or between 10 and 12. That's what I'm going to say. But anyway, it's been a while. And we have worked together in the government sector and just have become sisters. And not just because we were working for the federal government, and not just because are both veterans, but because we chose to be sisters. We chose to mesh our lives together so that we could strengthen each other. And both of us have grown tremendously. I'm so proud of her, to watch her grow and build her own company now. Her own company. Do y'all hear what I said? I'm gonna let her tell you about the company, but I'm gonna bring her into the studio now, Miss Christy Revere.
Happy Veterans Day month to my fellow sister veteran and to all of the veterans that, of course, are watching your platform because I know you have a very long reach. Thank you for this opportunity, Stacy, to be able to share a little bit about my story. I really appreciate you one thinking enough of me to invite me onto your platform to have this discussion, to have this conversation, right? And two, I'm honored that I left such an impression, that I made such an impression on you that you wanted to get to know me more and give me an opportunity to show you a different side of myself so that we can develop this sisterhood that we have developed. Like I was sitting backstage listening to you talk about when we met, and I just giggled to myself because I was like, was it in 2010? Where was it? Like it's been so long that we've known
It's
each other. I really don't know what year
when
it
it
was,
was.
but I know what got my attention. I was like, girl, them some Michael Kors shoes, because they surely is cute. I like them.
Yes. The shoes is always got to be on point. I don't know. It's just something about the feet, and they're so, intricate in our everyday life. But look, when we met, and we still have our ties to the federal government, but
Mhm.
I want to talk about your adventurous spirit first, because to join the military, what was
Ooh.
that all about?
Oh my goodness, girl. This is so funny that you would ask this question because literally yesterday, me, my mom, and my sister had this conversation and we was talking about the military. For me, I remember making a decision one after I had failed the ASVAB because I didn't take it serious when I first took it. Right? It was one of
Mm,
them classes like I ain't planning on going to the military. Didn't know, even though I was in the JRTC for the Navy, I
mhm.
really took it because it was elective and I thought the uniforms looked cute. That was my reason for taking it at that moment. Nothing else. And then
See, I told
something,
y'all, every guest is gonna come on here. They're gonna have a different reason. Now, I know that my sister is extremely creative. I won't say extravagant, but I know she likes things done well. And
yeah,
for you to see a uniform, that says a lot about you. That you thought, oh, wait a minute, look how pristine this uniform is, and how I could make it better.
so I was in high school and I just made something click. I can't specifically say what click, but something click. And I came home and I told my mom. I think the recruiter had came to the school that particular week or something. I remember coming home and telling my mom, I was like, "Mommy, I'm going to go in the military," and she was like, "Okay." I said, I want to join the Navy." She was like, "Okay."
Okay.
And she didn't argue with me. She didn't try to talk me out of it. She actually was very supportive. She said, "I think that would probably be the best thing for you." And
Hmm.
I was surprised because I thought she would have been like, "Oh my God, you're not going to the military." You know, very protective, but she wasn't. She saw it as an opportunity for me to grow and excel in ways that I didn't even see it for myself. At the
Yes.
moment when I joined the military, my mindset was, I'm from a small rural town. I wanted to get out
Mhm.
of that town. I wanted to travel the world and have different experiences that I knew existed, regardless of the matter that I hadn't had them at that moment.
Mm.
That adventurous spirit, I had an adventurous spirit of adventure, travel. Like that has just been
Okay.
something that
Okay.
resonated with me. And
Okay.
my other reason was because I wanted to go to college. And during
Mm,
the time that I joined the military, they didn't have these programs like Upward Bound and all the different programs that they have available to young Black kids and kids of color and kids to help them navigate the waters of applying for college, visiting different
mm-hmm,
colleges, having some um, providing them with the experience before they actually commit to going to college.
mm-hmm,
Because I didn't have that and I came from a rural time, a lot of people that I graduated with were talking about going to work in a factory mill. And I was like,
mm.
I don't even know what they do in that factory mill, but the word mill, it sounded like it was some hard work and I didn't that was not what I wanted. That
Right.
wasn't the type of hard work I wanted to experience. So that's
Yes.
what led me to making the decision to go into the military. I actually
Okay.
was underage. I was at the age, I think it was 15 or 16, where my mom had to physically approve. My
Mm-hmm.
parents had to approve for me to go into the military. That's how
Okay.
young I was when I made that decision.
Okay.
And
But it worked out because you
it was successful.
retired as a chief
I did.
in the Navy, which is not an easy feat.
It is not.
I,
The
uh-huh.
Navy is known to have um, they anticipate or expect, it's estimated that only 7% of the people that join the United States Navy will even make it to the rank of chief. So
Wow.
that is not a lot of people. And
That
to
is
be
not.
on top of it, to be a woman,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I'm
Mm-hmm.
pretty sure that number is even small
Right. Right.
because it's
Right.
not a lot of women. Just in proportion, when you look at the
Mm-hmm.
military, there's always
Mm-hmm.
more men than women anyway. So
Right. Right.
that was a
And
major accomplishment.
definitely. And I'm not surprised because I know you now, and as we just mentioned, we've known each other for so it's over 10 years, regardless of how we look, which number we use, which year we use. And I know that you have always demonstrated and displayed a character, somebody who is always going to move forward,
Mm,
always, regardless of how life is going. You're going to figure out how to continue to progress and develop. And I love that you are, and we'll talk about it more later, but I'm gonna just put it in here now. I love that you are showing people how to manage their organization through developing um, streamlined skills, revere virtual solutions, online business management services company that brings you some high level um, processes to help your company grow. So
mm.
here's somebody who you just told us how you have taken on how you took on the challenge in 20 years in the Navy, or maybe more. How many years was it? Because I know you retired. Just 20,
21. I made it
21
to
years.
21.
You must have. I know a lot of people looking at us now talking about, well, she must have went in when she was like 2.
Not that quite young.
Maybe 12.
Close. Yeah, yeah, right
maybe
about there.
maybe 12. So, but you're a phenomenal person. And to say, you did not follow the crowd. So guess what else that tells me that you are? You are a leader. How what does that mean to you? Being a leader.
Oh my goodness. That means to me, a person that's a leader is one that's willing, able, and confident to take control of any situation to make sure that the outcome is the best for the individuals or that particular situation. Like you're as a leader, yeah. I'm gonna take charge. I'm gonna get this taken care of. What you need? Hold on. I'm gonna figure it out.
And y'all, let me tell you something. That is something that Christy doesn't even have to say. She has demonstrated it ever since I known her. I used to work in a position in the federal government that we had this individual I love still, my one of my former supervisors. And I don't even say this a lot, but this individual, I'll say her name, Ann Patterson,
Mm.
she taught us so much about critical thinking. But
Mhm.
Chrissy at the time was working with a group who decided they weren't going to use too many of their critical thinking skills. And Christy would come into these daily meetings that we had and just give the information. Boom, 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 boom. We would get back to the office and the deputy chief of staff would ask, that was the position of Miss Patterson. She would ask, why did those other people come to the meeting? She said they could have just sent Christy and everything would have been fine, because Christy always demonstrated her leadership abilities. Uh-oh, it looks like we might have lost our guests for a little bit. But in the meantime, we're gonna go ahead and we'll take, she's back.
Yeah,
Yay.
I'm
We're gonna,
sorry.
but we get ready to take a break because I just happened to glance over here at the time. We're just having such a good time. And we need to take a little break.
Okay.
So we will be back.
Have you found yourself wondering, what is my purpose? Why am I here? Recognizing the stranger in the mirror is the book for you. It helps us to unravel the mystery of who you really are, revealing your life's passion and why you should unveil the real you to the world. We need you. You are valuable and necessary for those who are connected to you. Do not be afraid to peek in and discover all your gifts and talents to share. It's real freedom when we reveal our authenticity. Stacy Bullock is a two-time best-selling author, transformational speaker, and host of Tools for Everyday Living TV show. She is committed to igniting resilience, personal transformation, and building life skills of her audiences and clients. The author of 2 previously written self-help books, Beaten Oil and Regain Power Through Resilience, Don't Let Your Brain Go Numb. Stacy imparts lessons that teaches readers to utilize their light as a guide for others, and discovering inner strength and resiliency to bounce back when life throws curveballs. Stacy may be reached for speaking engagements, leadership and employee training, and life skills coaching via her email at stacy@powerandresilience.com.
I'm Stacy Bullock, and I'm committed to waking your power to bounce back quickly from life's challenges. I've learned there is power in resilience. There was a point in my life when I closely identified with the Sade song, Soldier of Love. Mostly what I identified with was the part that says, I've lost the use of my heart, but I'm still alive. Doubt, disappointment, rejection, it left a stain on my soul. But that's the place where our determination lives. And that's the place where we have to dig in and find resilience so that we can bounce back. I have taken all of that disappointment and despair, and now I use it as a catalyst. It has become my energy to fight, to become a better, a stronger human being every day. Why do I do this? 2 reasons. So I can help you understand that you can become better, and that you can become stronger, and then you can survive any situation. The second reason is because I was born to do it. I am a transformational speaker who can help you know that there is power after pain.
Every day, living tools for every day, living tools for every day, living every day. Yeah.
Just like that, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. And I was just having some thoughts while we were making our way through the commercials. And I just want to know, do you think about the skill sets that you brought over or brought with you from the military or that you learned while you were in the military? Tell us some skill sets that people will need to navigate. You used that word earlier. I loved it. To navigate through life.
Um, First of all, organization is a huge plus. I really believe once people learn how to use organization, they'll be able to set themselves up for them to be able to navigate in a smoother way, right? Um, so that is one of my sweet spots. Organization, administration, attention to detail is another major trait and skill set that I learned in the military that I've used that to transform in my second career and as part of my business model. Because one thing about the military, it is imperative that you pay attention to the details. The smallest detail can be um, could have a huge impact on individuals, places, and things. So there are times when you really do need to hone in on that. And I believe that that attention to detail is a foundation for to build up your critical thinking muscle.
Mm. Did y'all? I hope y'all got that. If you didn't, if you can watch it on YouTube, but you can just rewind and hear that back because there was some nuggets in there that I don't think I could have been writing fast enough. So I will be going back to listen to this episode again because that was yummy. When you said that your sweet spot, yes, it's definitely organization. You know, I have paying attention to detail goes across the board for me in
Mm-hmm.
life. I have stopped dating people because they didn't pay attention to detail. And I needed that in the
Mm-hmm.
relationship to pay
Mm,
attention to the details. If I say something,
mm-hmm.
you should be paying attention so much that if you see what I said, then let's say, oh, well, let me go ahead and get this for her. I'm women, I'm giving y'all some little extra nuggets out there tonight.
If you want your
Pay
success relationship to be successful, pay attention.
Pay attention. Yes, because a lot of people don't. And that just leads me right to this question that just popped in my head. So, about balancing all of this, balancing business, balancing family life, because I read in your bio that you love hanging out with your family. And I didn't have to read that in your bio. I know that personally. Um,
You
if
experience it
you don't,
firsthand.
right, is that right? And had the opportunity to spend, of all things, a weekend when it was her mother's birthday. That was wonderful. So I know you love spending time with your family, but tell us about balancing all of you. Yeah.
I have to be honest. I do not always do the best at balancing all things that's associated with me. I do my best to organize because yes, y'all gonna get tired of hearing me say this word. Organize, 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 organize. That's something I live by. In order for me to have balance in my life, I have to have things organized, meaning that every not to the point that it's OCD type, but there's a time and place for everything. So I have to make sure I cut out, carve out time to do my homework, right? I'm working
Mm-hmm.
on my degree, or carve out time to create content for my
Mm.
business, carve out time to focus on the business, to develop the processes. Not only develop the processes, but you got to test the process and make sure that what you develop is actually going to do what you imagine it to do. Because just because you develop and put it in place, if you don't actually test it, how do you know everything is doing what it's supposed to do? So
Right.
balance for me means making sure that I'm organized to a degree where I'm able to be able to fit all of these individual pockets into where they go. Family goes over here. Yes, I had to figure out how to organize my time because my family be pulling at me like, when the next family trip? When the next family outing? When the next time we gonna go to brunch? We ain't been to brunch in a while. Like,
Yes. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
if you have a lot of different things pulling at you, which we
Mm-hmm.
all do in this day and age, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to figure out, right? You got to fit in some time to go to the gym and fit in some time for self-care. It takes a person to figure out and sit down and organize those things in order for you to be able to execute them all. Because if you don't put together any type of vision or goal or plan in place to
Mm-hmm.
organize all of this stuff, you're gonna be
Right.
dropping stuff left and right. Half of the stuff is not gonna get done.
Right. Vision. Keyword. You said vision. Because I read somewhere that without a vision, the people perish.
Mm,
People fall away. The people are not able to complete their life's mission without vision.
mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I'm going to have to take a short break right on the heels of the one we just took. I apologize. We are needing some electricity over here, and I need to make sure that everything remains well. So we'll be back in 1 minute and 13 seconds. Just like that, we're back. All righty. We're going to continue this wonderful conversation. And I just love some of the nuggets that you're throwing out. Let's bring Christy back in the studio first so we can get to talk to her too. But the words, I mean, like when you said honesty, that covers a full gamut of a lot of things. And some people don't even think that they need to be honest with themselves. And you just so transparently helped us see that we first must be honest with ourselves. In many of the books that I've written, it'll say in there maybe more than one time,
Mm-hmm.
tell yourself the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we tell ourselves the truth, first of all, it gives us the opportunity to to deal with the things that we sometimes don't want to deal with. But until we
Mm-hmm.
do, we're not organized. Now we're wondering why we're in disarray. Why are things out of place? Why? How come I don't have any structure in my life? See, people think those are bad words.
Mm-hmm.
Discipline, structure. Those are not bad words. Those are words that we need to make sure that we get to a healthy place in life. And I'm not just meaning one area of life with our physical health. No, I mean healthy in our mental health and our relationships and our vocational
Mm-hmm.
area. Be healthy in those areas. And I know that you mentioned the word organize, and I'm gonna say it again because I think it's a healthy component to have
Mm-hmm.
in our human toolbox. And I want you to talk about organization some a little bit more, because I believe we just need to know how to stay organized in life.
Well, it's interesting enough that you said we need to tell ourselves the truth, right? And I don't know if I read it somewhere or heard it somewhere, but in regards to that honesty aspect, once you're able to be honest with yourself, then you actually are able to set yourself free to a degree for you to be able to look at the areas where you need to be able to be more organized, right? You have to identify the areas, identify if you are a type of person that needs some more structure and discipline to be able to be organized, because I really believe that that structure and discipline and honesty all builds together and goes together with organization. I also think if you look at 5 successful people, any 5 that you choose, all of them are going to tell you that they have a level of organization about themselves in their life. They have a level of discipline and structure. And then once you get those pieces together, you're able to identify, okay, there's some areas in my life where I'm not the expert on, but because I'm organized, that I can set time aside to be able to strengthen those areas, whether that be reading or research or um, paying for some type of assistance. That is part of it. And secondly, a part of organization is also identifying what is it that you actually need to be focused on. Because you can have many of different things that you're working on, but what do you need to get this specific thing accomplished at this moment? Organization, and earlier I had mentioned about having a vision, right? If you set the tone by creating a vision or set a goal or creating a dream, in order to achieve those things, you're going to have to be organized in organized on the steps that you need to take in order to reach to those areas. Those are the things that I think is a great starting point. Another great thing or tool that you would use with organization is writing it down. Um, Writing it down, visualizing it, and making it plain for yourself that you can come back and revisit. Because if you set that vision, you set that goal, and you create the steps on how to achieve it, and you're organized on what you need to do when you need to do it, you're going to actually reach that goal because you have it visualized. You mapped out a plan of actions that you need to take, and each one you're going to take a different step at different times. You're not going to do everything at one time because it depends on what it is that you want to do. You're going to have to figure out how many steps you need, right? Whether it be from buying a house, whether it be from deciding to go into the entrepreneur space, or whether it be to write a book or making the decision to go back to school, right? You have to set a priority, develop some steps for that priority,
Yes.
organize the material, the time, the space, whatever it is that you need to get those steps accomplished to reach that goal.
Right. Man, woo. I'm telling you, actually, I know y'all couldn't see me, but Christy could see me off stage, and my head was down most of the time because I'm sitting up here typing in right now as I'm going to push out some advertisement for the show that Miss Revere is dropping off some nuggets. And y'all need to be getting on here and listening and hearing what she has to say, and rewinding it and pushing it back. However, just take the little cursor and move the little dot back so you
Mm,
can get to the point where you are like, oh yeah, because some of this stuff you're not gonna get it right
right
away.
away.
It's gonna have to sink in. It's gonna have to marinate in your heart a little bit, and then because you mentioned this one word that a lot of people I think have gotten away from
Mm,
for some of the reasons that you talked about, because they don't want to be disciplined, they don't want to be organized, they don't want to pay attention to detail. But we have to. It is a absolute must that we do this. If we don't, we will find our life with a lot more stress than
mm-hmm,
is that is actually needed. We need a little
mm-hmm,
stress every now and then to
mm-hmm.
push us and cause us to grow and develop and stuff like that. Beautiful grass grows when you put manure on
Mm-hmm.
it.
It don't smell good. Don't
It
look
don't
good in the
smell
beginning.
good,
But the
and
end product,
but woo, it's beautiful. It
mm-hmm.
is beautiful. But you said dream. That's the word that you just kind of whoop snuck it in there. But we sometimes think, oh, I got these big dreams. Well, what does it look like when we follow our dreams
Mm.
with the tools that you mentioned?
For me, I
Mm-hmm.
believe it is going to look peaceful.
Mm.
I really believe it's going to look peaceful because you're not going to be frantic running around here because you already did the pre-work, right? You done did the pre-work, you done laid the foundation, you done went through the steps and then did what you need to do to get to that dream point. So when you get there, it should be peaceful. It should be um, relaxing to a degree.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
everything that builds up to that work, that grind, there's a lot of things that goes into getting and reaching your dreams. Whatever that dream is, there's a lot
Mm-hmm.
of long nights maybe in ahead of you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sleepless
Mm-hmm.
days, maybe. I don't know. Depends on what it is that you're going to have to make some type of sacrifices to reach that dream. And for
Ooh.
each person, it's going to look different because each person um idea of that their dream, what it looks like to live it out is going to look different. But for me, when I reach a milestone or a goal or one of my dreams, it looks and feels peaceful and relaxing, and I'm rewarded at the end
Mm-hmm.
in the fact that
Mm-hmm.
I was able to achieve this or able
Right.
to reach this.
Right. Right. And woo, I told y'all nuggets. You just gave me a chapter to the book that I'm writing right now. And I don't know how it's going to work out, but you sure just gave me peaceful sacrifice.
Ooh, ooh, that's
Woo.
interesting.
That thing has touched my soul, because yes, we there are sacrifices that have to be made
Hmm.
in
Hmm.
everything.
Hmm.
um I always somehow get back to relationships, but this coming to my mind about a relationship, what I my mantra, if you will, for a healthy relationship is that two people have decided that they no longer want to give in to the selfish human trait.
Mm.
That can be a sacrifice for some people, because it's like, wait a minute, what do you mean I have to think about somebody else and me too? And sometimes I got to think about them more than I think about me. A lot.
Girl.
But
But isn't that in alignment with the biblical principles about marriage? right?
Yeah. That you.
You have to die to self in
Woohoo.
order to serve other people, right? You
Woohoo.
got to be willing to put self down and not on the top, right? Self
Right.
can't be the priority.
Right.
What is the priority for our union?
Right. Right.
What are we trying to accomplish together?
Right.
And
Exactly.
you can apply that to your family. You can
Hmm.
apply that to in your career. You can apply that in your business. Like, what are you willing to sacrifice about yourself
Right. Right. Because you can't
to
sacrifice
accomplish
for
that?
nobody. You can't
Mm-mm.
sacrifice for somebody else. I don't, I think that was done once, and his
And
name
he's
was
not
Jesus.
coming back.
So
Right, right.
I mean, he coming back,
He
but
coming back, but not
not
now.
to right for us to
Right.
do what we've been created to do.
To do. To do.
Nobody's going to come down and or up or sideways or however you looking at it. Nobody is going to come and hold your hand and say, okay, we're going to do this today. Today, no, we're not going to make that major purchase because
Mm,
we need to pay attention because you have this dream, and the dream is going to say that 5 years from now you're going to have to upgrade a system. So if we make this major purchase, we may not be able to do that. Now
mm-hmm.
if the major purchase is going to give you some how can I say, what's the word I'm looking for here, make it an asset,
Mm,
become an asset for you, then maybe.
that's different.
Because
Yeah.
I'm actually, then when I was talking about it, I'm like, dang, well, I'm in that situation right now with a major purchase, but is in the long run, it looks the vision that you talked about shows me that this is going to enhance my
Mm-hmm.
life.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how we got to look at things too. Is it
Yeah.
going to enhance the relationship? Is it going to enhance my life?
Is it going to
Is
enhance
everything
what your goals or what you're trying to accomplish? Because even for myself, like I started my business and I had to take a step back because I was in school, working in school, working on my bachelor's degree, plus being
Mhm.
a full time in my federal government career and my life, right? Balancing my life and friends, family trips, and things of that nature. And it got to a point where I did not feel that I was able to create the right content to be able to engage with my audience. So I needed to take a step back for a moment, finish this one item that I was working on because I already had it organized. I knew what I needed to accomplish. I think I had one, two, three, 4 semesters left before I was able to actually graduate with my bachelor's degree. So I had to unfortunately take a pause in my business, which is also a sacrifice because I was starting because I had momentum at that time. But I had to take that pause in my business to finish this piece over here, which is going to help me in another avenue of entrepreneurship down the road with a different project. And some of the
Mhm.
things that I accomplished and some of the things I learned in my process of getting this bachelor's degree also goes into my business. And so when I get back to it, I can devote that time, that creativity, energy that I need because my brain
Mhm.
was just I had to organize out everything that was in my head, right? I the creative part of myself was
Mhm.
like struggling to breathe, and I didn't want it to be just thrown together. I wanted to be able
Mhm.
to sit down and put the same amount of energy and focus that I put in it when I started and went inside. Hey, I want to try entrepreneurship. I need that same hunger and energy. I need
Absolutely.
that for the creativity side of it to develop the marketing plan so that I can actually attract the right people at the
Absolutely.
right time. There's
Right.
timing, but that
Yes.
comes there's timing for everything. But
And
if you don't have
mhm.
that organization baseline, How do you
Mhm.
know how much time you need and when you need time at? What do you know where to devote resources and time
Right,
to,
right, too, right, and not be wasteful.
or burn
Um,
yourself out?
right. I remember one of the leadership principles from the military was that you know your people so much that you will put enough on them to make them grow, but you
Mm,
won't put so much on them that you would cause them to fail.
mm-hmm,
And so I believe that we have to know how to do that for ourselves. What you just said was a great example of telling yourself the truth. Hold up, wait a minute. I need to take a step back for a minute. Everybody won't do that, but listen to me, y'all out there. Sometimes taking a step back is not harmful. It is
mm-hmm,
the best thing for you to do to make sure, as you said, you need to gather and organize the thoughts in your mind. And now let's not put all of this energy into this one thing. That's what I meant about the leadership principle.
mm,
Don't put so much into this that you're causing this over here to wilter, to
mm,
falter. And sometimes we'll do that to ourselves, and that never lands us in a great place. It always will land us in a place feeling defeated. But if we
mm.
just take these small chunks and say, let's get this done. Now move
Yes.
on from there. Let's get this done. It's literally building, like you said, it what you're doing now will make you greater for the next step of the project,
Mm-hmm.
because the projects, they don't stop. Life
Mm-mm.
doesn't stop. We keep on going, and I hope we keep building. And I'm gonna stop talking for in a split second, but I hope we keep building to show that we are viable in this earth. We you can't just stop. We have to grow.
Mm-hmm.
We were once veterans. We were once, I mean, excuse me, active duty in the military. Now we're not. So now what? So because we're not doing that anymore, does that mean we do nothing? Absolutely
No,
not.
you adapt.
Absolutely not. Listen to me out here, the veterans. There are some veterans who think that there's nothing else for them. There's a
Mm.
whole world
Oh my
waiting on
goodness.
you, waiting
So
on you.
much.
Yes, and your experience. And I want to, Christy, I want you to tell us about your experience in your business, Revere Virtual Solutions. How did you come up knowing that you were perfect for this position? I already know, but I want you to tell us.
So one, the interesting aspect of this is I believe God created each and every one of us for a purpose, right? And
Mhm,
part of
mhm,
our walk in this life is to figure out or come to an understanding and get into alignment with that purpose is. And
mm.
forever, I kept arguing with the Lord about what my spiritual gift was. I mean, straight or I was like,
Mhm, mhm.
administration ain't no spiritual gift, Lord. That ain't. I ain't never heard nobody in church holler about administration being a spiritual gift. I ain't seen
Yes, it
nobody go up
is.
to the altar and talk about, I want my gift to be a administration. Like I've been arguing with the Lord for many years about administration. And administration is a very valid gift. When it clicked into
Mhm,
my head, God had administrators around him. Jesus Christ had administrators around him when he was walking around healing
mhm,
people, right?
mhm,
Casting out demons. Somebody had to go before to look at where we going next and lay the
mhm.
foundation and talk to the people. Where we gonna put Jesus when he come over here? Where he gonna sleep at? Who got some food? How much water over there? Somebody had to do all that. Somebody had to organize that. Somebody had to keep Jesus Christ organized, right?
Right,
So that
right.
he could feel his purpose heal people,
Yes.
save people, right?
Yes.
If he didn't
Yes.
have some organization to himself and to the people around him, he would not have been able to do all that he was doing. So once I stopped arguing with the Lord, I said, you know what? I'm very good at administration. I'm very good at organization. I eat, breathe,
Mm-hmm.
and live all things organization, which means
Mm.
all things organizational, operational, and administrative. They all go that family go together.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's what brought me to starting my business because I really believed and I felt that there were a lot of entrepreneurs out here who were solopreneurs themselves, starting out or at a point in their entrepreneurship that they needed to expand and grow, but they couldn't expand and grow the way they wanted to because they were busy doing some aspects of their business in their business that they should have been delegating to someone else, right?
So
So
true.
let's look at coaches for example.
Mm-hmm.
Coaches, you're getting your bread and butter by the people that you're coaching and the programs that you're developing.
Right.
But in order for you to reach the masses, you have to have a smooth system and a smooth process for when you bring somebody on board. So your
Right.
client relationship management tool that you pick for your business have to be planned and organized and tested to make sure that it's hitting everything that needs to happen in a timely manner, right? Without you
Mm-hmm.
sitting there manually. Okay, well, she reached out to me and said, I want to be on your show, Stacy. Can I, I would like I'm interested in you, spotlight me. Stacy doesn't have time to send an email back to say, okay, thank you for your interest. Now I need you to do A, B, C, and D. And then after you do A, B, C, and D, she gonna send another email to say, I need you to do this and this and that. And then another meet. Nobody has time to send out one individual email for all of those steps, right? But you do
Right.
have time to sit down with someone like myself or sit down with
Mm-hmm.
me as an online business manager to sit there
Mm-hmm.
and let's talk it out.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me how you visualize this to happen. Tell me what
Mm-hmm.
you want to happen when someone reaches out to you. I want tip step by step by step. What happened? Boom. Okay, this. Okay, now that you done laid that out, now let me put this together in your system, your client relationship management, and then let's
Mm-hmm.
test it so you can see and experience what your clients are going to see, because there's nothing worse than having clients come on and it's taking 2 and 3, 4, and 5 days for you to get back to them on something very basic because you'll lose interest in people very quickly. So that process is making sure that smooth processes or processes are smooth and streamlined is something that I
Mm-hmm.
really felt like people needed. I didn't know who all needed it, but I really believe that there was a lot of
Look,
entrepreneurs out there that was like behind the
look.
scenes, right? They behind the curtain at their Wizard of Oz, pulling all the levels, trying to do
Yes.
everything and
Try.
keep
Mm.
the show on the other side of the screen going at the same time. So
Keep it going.
that's what birth Revere Virtual Solutions. And the funny thing about it, once I told my close family members, like the people in my close circle, I told them I was gonna do it. Everybody was like,
Mhm.
"It took you long enough. What you been waiting on?"
Right.
I felt so
Exactly.
offended. I said, "What y'all mean? It took you long enough?" They was like, "We
No.
all been known. That was
Yes.
your gift.
You, you,
That's where you shine at. This is what you need to be doing in life." Like,
right.
it was a
Right.
no-brainer to them. But to
Right.
myself, I was like, y'all just hyping me up.
Well, look, I just wrote down an acronym for what Christy was just talking about. And the acronym that I wrote down is, glad you're back. The acronym that I wrote down for what you were talking about is ARA, and that is alignment, realization, and acceptance. Because we have to, first of all, we get we go through so many things in life and we're like, why am I going through this right now? Well, this is putting you in alignment. If you don't fight it, if you don't say, no, that's not me, that's not me, that's not me. If you,
Don't do me.
when you get to the point of you stop fighting it, not just you, me too. I had to accept that I am a writer, because now that I have accepted that I am a writer, when I sit down, I expect to write. I don't expect to have writer's block. No, because I am a writer, and writers write. Okay? Speakers speak. I'm a speaker. If you stop and talk, engage me in conversation, you best know we about to have a conversation. Because I do not have any problem at all with talking. My mother found that out when I was young. Teachers would say, she does great work, but she just talks too much.
I had
But
that
now,
issue too.
hey, this is what I do. This is who I am. I talk for a living. I write for a living. And I'm okay with that now, because I had to get myself in alignment, and it took some moments. It took some knocks and some bangs and some fall down and grab up. You know how you got to grab up on something and you didn't realize that you thought you was going to grab something else, but you pulled yourself up on something else. Like, oh, well, this is nice. This is very sturdy. I needed this in my life. So then come to the realization of who you are and stick with it, and then accept it and believe it and trust that God did this for you. So, Christy, I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you for coming on this show. You have put up some beams of light for the people. You put up some beams of light for me. And I am forever grateful for you coming here and spending this hour with us. I'm so appreciative.
No, thank you. Thank you for reaching out to me and asking me to do this, right? Because I love talking about process. You ask me a question, I'm like, well, what about this? Well, how does that work? Right? That is we're gonna walk this side. And I remember when you decided to start your actual TV producing this aspect. I remember talking to you about this last year, 2 years ago, right? When I was just starting out trying to figure out some things in business. But at the moment, I didn't feel that I had true value at that moment to share. But looking back, I have so many military women who are amazing that have came to me and asked me one question about my business, because they saw me, was like, oh, she stepped out and did that. Just one thing. And next thing I know, all of y'all have just shot off into the atmosphere. And it's so much
you
more.
Help.
And y'all are doing amazing things in this aspect of your careers, because all of y'all have found that, what you said, alignment, and the realization of the alignment and the acceptance. And y'all are definitely, in my belief, walking in the purpose that you was designed for.
Well, we thank you for everything that you've told us. We're going to get out of here. And we'll see y'all next Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Tools for Everyday Living.
Thank